Come on, man.
I tried my hardest.
Yeah, I don't think given what the legislature did, I don't think there's anything. Good evening, everyone. We'll call ourselves to order. It's 5 o'clock. Please join me in a moment of silence. Join me in the pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Please be seated. Call our roll. Dr. O'Neill.
Present.
Mr. Heater.
Present.
Mrs. Barnes-Griffin.
Present.
Dr. Washburn.
Present.
Mr. Lowe.
Present.
Mr. Irvin.
Present.
Okay, thank you. We have everybody present. Administrative reports. Dr. Reynolds.
Yes, thank you. Good evening, everybody. Have a lot of quick tidbits to update you on today. It's a busy time of the year as we ramp up all of our activities to get going for our 25-26 school year. First student day is August the 6th, and we'll be here before anyone knows it. So teachers come back on August 4th for their official first day back. I guess importantly for our families at home, we have our registration events. It's much different than they used to be. No more big packs of paper and cards and triplicates and duplicates of different things. It's all online, but the schools will be open on July the 23rd from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. and July the 24th from 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. to get assistance if you need help filling out any of those paperwork, any of that online paperwork or logging in. Again, the importance, the student, if they were here last year, have rolled over their information, but we just want to be sure that we have accurate information up to date for health, medical, emergency contacts, and probably most importantly for Parent Square, so we can have a good open line of communication with our families through Parent Square. So those days and the buildings will be open. Also a good time just to get in the building, to see the principals. Teachers are always milling around at that point, getting their rooms set up and ready to go. So buildings are usually in pretty good shape and put back together. Floors are shiny, but they're usually working on the last few classrooms to get ready for the school year. Lots of summer learning for our staff is happening right now. We had middle school science, and every middle school science teacher was in attendance yesterday at Southside, unpacking the new standards, working with some of the curriculum and mapping with Mrs. Polk-Meek. Today at Central, they had the Center for High School Success meeting with our new Freshman Academy team. Our previous teachers, but are on a new team of Freshman Academy set up to better meet the needs of our students to ensure their success. Got there at the end of the day. I think Eric stopped by a couple times today. I got there at 2 o'clock today after a full day, and they were still engaged and working hard. I was very impressed. Still have social studies coming up, I think, tomorrow, and science and math at the secondaries next week, along with elementary literacy. Won't be far behind. So plenty of work going on there to get ready for the new school year. And then we have our band contest up at Central this weekend. We have 23 bands that will be there. Probably, I didn't count, but probably 75, 80 school buses and trailers and thousands of spectators and students ready to perform up at Central High School. Paul and his team have been working really hard to make sure that we're ready to go. It's just a wonderful, wonderful showcase for our kiddos. They talked to the YMCA. They're going to close at 3 o'clock that day to give us just a little extra space parking up there. So they've agreed to do that for that event, recognizing the large crowd that we'll have up there. And then they're on to Anderson the next week and State Fair the week after that. So excited for what's to come with our summer marching band and just the opening days of school.
So on the schools coming into town, we may want to give them some directions to come in from the north.
Yeah.
As opposed to trying to turn
Yeah.
across, because I don't think Walnut's going to be.
Ooh, it was, I
It's
think we got kicked out of our parking lot today because they had to move over by the field house because they were blocking the southbound lanes. They were repaving those, but that's a good idea.
Yeah, I would
Have them
just
come in from the north.
have them come in from the north and guide them in from the north on Walnut. Otherwise, they're going to get. I think they'll find it to be a challenge.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
I mean,
Madison's
Walnut,
tough.
Wheeling. You're gonna bring them in on Wheeling?
I would come in from Walnut on the north side.
Oh, you would?
Yeah,
Okay.
I think it's going to be hard to make that turn.
Oh, I see where you're, just over the bridge.
Mhm.
You're coming back, okay.
Yeah.
And then to the extent they can, are we going to try and park them on the north side of?
All the bands will park on the north side. We have no spectators on the north side. All
So
our bands.
it would be easier for them to come in North Walnut
Yeah.
and go right there.
Yes.
Otherwise, they're going to get caught up.
Right.
That was the entrance you could actually get in today to the parking
Okay.
lot. You could get in the north, coming north into the north part of the parking lot.
Okay.
After that, everything down Walnut in front of the school
They'll shut, right?
and even in front of the Y, all the way to the field house was shut down.
Yeah.
So,
Do we have lots of help to park spectators?
Yes. Track and cross-country coaches. I was a little nervous about having too many kids out there, so we're going to have some of those coaches are going to volunteer to help guide, point to parking lots after we fill up. It's a little bit of a walk for folks to get to the contest, but I tell you, at dismissal, people kind of scatter everywhere, and it's not a bottleneck right at the field house. So I guess that's an added benefit to that. So
Walking's healthy.
that's right.
So,
I think that's it for me.
okay.
Mr. Williams.
Any other questions for Dr. Reynolds? Mr. Grimm?
thank you, Mr. Williams, Board, Dr. Reynolds. Tonight, we'd like to talk and just inform the board a little bit about the Forest Academy out at Camp Adventure. So I'll call Mallory and Heidi up. They've been working with me as a team since probably April to kind of go through our newest program, which will be out at Camp Adventure, called the Forest Academy. Just a little bit that this is a program that Muncie's been looking to start for the last couple years. Has some barriers to it. Probably couple of the biggest barriers were being able to find a teacher. And I believe at the beginning we started to look for a full Montessori program, which is very intense. The training on it is months and months for a teacher, and just didn't have a lot of success in getting that started. So we scaled that back a little bit this year, and we've moved forward pretty quickly, starting in April all the way through today with starting that program. So we just want to tell you a little bit about it, answer any of your questions about the Montessori inspired or nature school out at Camp Adventure. So just a little bit about Camp Adventure. Camp Adventure was founded in 1939 as a Boys and Girls Club. It's a 40-acre site, and obviously in a previous board meeting here just a month ago, we purchased Camp Adventure, and then now we are the owners of Camp Adventure. It sold to us in June from the Optimist Club. It's kind of a year-round camp. It's very heavily used right now. It's not as heavily used in the winter. So starting a program like this you'll have students out there year round now. So pretty much, every day of the year, Monday through Friday, for the most part, we'll have kiddos out at Camp Adventure. So kind of see some numbers there on growth. It's definitely grown 2024. Had the most kids over the last several years, and pretty much on pace for that same kind of number halfway through 2025 with the rest of the fall and all of that to go. So that's a little bit about Camp Adventure. So Mallory will tell us a little bit about kind of Forest Academy. She seems to be she's definitely a Montessori expert compared to Heidi and myself. I definitely have learned a lot about Montessori what it's like, but she definitely has a lot of that knowledge.
So what makes the Forest Academy unique is definitely the child-led learning. We will have a prepared environment like most Montessori classrooms, where the environment that they're learning is going to be prepared ahead of time, and that fosters choice and independence with the students. Hands-on experiences, everything that we do at the Forest Academy will be hands-on. We really try to relate it to the real world, but that's also infused in the Montessori element, which they do a domain called practical life. And so they'll learn hands-on ways to enhance that. Outdoor exploration, daily access to the nature buildings. We just spent a lot of money last year from the Ball Brothers to put in a whole bunch of natural playground equipment like the mud kitchen. We have a wooden teepee and a lot of other structures the kids can play on and explore. Building resilience, this is another one. They'll take risks outdoors, they'll problem solve, and that develops grit and confidence, which we want to really enhance in those students. And then obviously the deep connection to nature, because they're going to be out at Camp Adventure every day. Some things about the Montessori approach we're using, which is going to be a blended approach. Obviously child-centered, hands-on, self-paced. The features, like I said, we have the prepared environment. So we will have a classroom in the log cabin that we will prepare, well, the teacher will prepare daily for those students based on their needs. Practical life and sensorial work. Another thing that we are using with the Montessori is we're using mixed age levels. So we'll have 4 through 6, and there's also looping involved. So typically in a regular Montessori environment, they would loop for 3 years. But the way we're going to do it, because we're doing a blend, we're going to do it every 2 years. And then teacher is not a lecturer. They are guiding their students. They're observing their students in the classroom. So how Montessori guides our approach, independence and practical life skills, sensorial learning, individualized learning. A lot of the materials in the classroom are very holistic. They go deep with the senses. So it is hands-on, but they're using every sense to understand and learn that concept. It will be aligned to the standards. It's practical life, sensorial, just like we've talked about. And then, of course, we are going to maintain that strong foundational literacy approach. When we, in Montessori, they typically will have a 3-hour work period. And obviously with pre-K and kindergarten, they'll have to gradually work up to that. But the goal is to infuse CKLA with those kindergartners at that time. We'll just separate them from the group and use the CKLA approach with them.
Some just general information about the camp out there. Class size will be up to 20 students. Ideally, that would be 10 kindergartners and 10 pre-K students. And I'll kind of go through that makeup here in a minute of where we're at as of today. We were very fortunate to hire 2 staff. One, our teacher is Montessori certified. They're going through some additional certification now. Has taught at a Montessori school with this age of students in Michigan. So we're very fortunate to find a teacher that is very qualified to do this. That's, like I said, been a barrier in the past. We really didn't have any applicants previous years that met any of those qualifications. So we were able to get a Montessori experienced teacher. And then we also have an aide with the students out there. And then Mallory will kind of be the camp coordinator on site to kind of oversee kind of the day-to-day operations of that program, along with all the students that come out there on field trips and things like that. The base school will be Grissom Elementary with transportation provided. So parents have a couple different ways to get their kids to the Montessori school. They can directly bring them to the Montessori school in the morning, or they can take them to Grissom. And then we will drive a little white activity bus, one of our activity buses. The aide will drive students out. Right now, looking at the transportation requests, we have 15 of those in so far, and 3 students are wanting to be transported from Grissom to there. The other 12 right now, parents are saying they will drive them out directly to Montessori. So looks like most parents will be transporting out to Montessori, but we will be taking a small bus back and forth each day with a few of our kiddos. So for the most part, we'll go to Camp Adventure every day, but there is a classroom at Grissom for weather, just some freak things that might keep us from the camp. But for the most part, they will attend out there every day. When they get out to the Forest Academy, there's kind of a daily routine. They start in a morning circle, very similar to what you might see in a traditional classroom but with different activities, but that same concept of kind of a circle time. Obviously, a lot of outdoor exploration. Parents are asked to make sure their kids are appropriately dressed. We've kind of went through materials with what that kind of looks like because they will be outside a lot. So when it's hot, when it's cold, so when it might be a little wet or muddy, they'll be outside a lot. So of the day at Camp Adventure. There's Montessori work time, which is kind of like pre-set up, which Mallory was mentioning. The teacher kind of sets up those different stations and different activities throughout the day. And there's also a strong literacy component. There's story time, a lot of reading with our kids as we want to make sure they get a good foundational reading to make sure when they get to third grade that they're independent readers and they're passing the read exam and they're able to read to learn. So because they've learned to read while they've been in school. So that's definitely a big key. So when I created this last week, we had 18 students enrolled. We've added 2 more since then, so we're up to a full 20 enrolled students. There are 11 pre-K students and 9 kindergarten students, so we came very close to that 10 and 10, 50-50 model. But so we have 11 pre-K and 9 kindergarten. We have 13 kids coming from, actually 14 now coming from in-district and 6 coming from out-of-district. And then one of the things that's kind of hard to represent, I know of 2 families that are in district but take their kids out of district that are now going to have Muncie school kids instead of taking their kids to, I know one family goes to Daleville and the other homeschools, and they will actually put their kids into school now with Muncie schools because of this program. So we're not also pulling in maybe some out of district people, but we're also with this program getting a few of our in-district kids that we don't currently capture into a program that they're very highly interested in. We do have a family night coming up July 28th, basically for them to see the area, kind of walk around, see the indoor classroom, and really a chance for the 3 of us to answer any final questions for parents. We want them to be very comfortable. It's a new program. We'll try to have every answer to every question, but if not, we'll find the answers to their questions. They've got brand new kids, pre-K or kindergarten kids, so it's their first school experience. So we want them to have a great first experience. We want to be able to make sure they're comfortable, feel safe out at Camp Adventure, because it's definitely a different learning environment than the 4 walls of a traditional school. So we've got one of those coming up July 28th. We'll have maybe a back to school meet the teacher night as well after school starts as well. But planning on lots of family stuff out there for them to definitely feel comfortable. Kind of to finish up here, why we're doing this. It's definitely been something that the community is wanting. The Ball Foundation, different groups have come to us wanting us to maybe look at this. I know Dr. Kay, when she was here, took a trip to Michigan and explored some schools up there. It definitely aligns with what we believe in placing learners first and trying to meet the needs of different learners in our district. We have a dual language program. We have a high ability program. Now we have a kind of a Montessori-like inspired program that might meet a need of a student that we currently aren't being able to meet as well. So it definitely aligns with that. There are definite benefits to nature-based learning. Research shows that kids in this environment show a lot of gains in reading and math and science. So that's something that we're hoping to, track ourselves to see, what kind of learning these kids have as they progress through school since they started in the Montessori-inspired ability. So It's definitely child-led. It's very independent for the child. The teacher is kind of a facilitator. They're there to help. There's a lot of hands-on learning. Just looking for a way to meet kids and develop kids in a whole different way than we do in our normal classrooms. So, and honestly, we're also trying to attract out-of-district families to Muncie, so, and keep our kids here. Offering programs that other places don't have is a great way to bring new families into our school system and see all the wonderful things that we offer. So, so that's a little bit about the Forest Academy. We appreciate your support in that. I definitely appreciate Dr. Reynolds, who has let me kind of take the lead on this and kind of, get going from our first parent meeting we held out at Camp Adventure in April. I definitely thank Mallory and Heidi because they've definitely put in a lot of work behind the scenes to get this ready. And we're definitely open to answer your questions, or at least try to answer your questions tonight that you might have about the program that'll start out there August 6th.
Thank you, Mr. Grimm.
You're welcome.
Questions for Mr. Grimm or for?
Yeah, quick question. Do we have the ability to grow the program beyond 20 students?
Yeah, so this year we'll start with a classroom of pre-K and K. Next year, the goal would be to move those kids to kindergarten and first.
Okay.
And then 2 years from now, we would start 2 classrooms out there, a pre-KK and a first-second classroom. Beyond that, we thought we could sustain 2 classrooms like that every year then going forward. Potentially, if there is enough interest out there and we have the space, that maybe depend upon other grants and other things that might be happening out at Camp Adventure, but we could go further in the elementary grades. But right now, I think our plan over the next, if we had a 3-year plan, it would be 1 classroom this year, that same classroom with kindergarten and first next year, and then after that, 2 classrooms every year after that with a pre-KK and a 1-2 that rolls through every year. So we do have some growth plans over the next 3 years.
Thank you.
Eric, if we're filled with 20, is there a selection process? Is it first come, first serve? I mean, how do we determine which 20 are going to go?
So we really wanted a kind of a balance between the two. It's between kindergarten and preschoolers. But then we kind of, rank them kind of like we do in the dual language program. In the dual language program, there's a kind of a tier pyramid of, okay, if you're a native speaker, you have first dibs into the program. So we looked at out-of-district kindergartners as our first tier when we started looking at students. So if you were coming from out of district and we could bring you in as a new family, you were a kindergartner, we looked at that first. Then we looked at our in-district kindergartners. Then we looked at our out-of-district preschoolers, because there were a lot more preschoolers interested than there were kindergartners. And then we looked at our in-district kindergartners. So as we've kind of filled those tiers to try to get to that 50-50, and we're pretty close to that, we've been able to kind of have that selection process. We have maybe a family that just put in today that might be on a wait list as a pre-K, but right now, based on the interest, we've kind of had to weed out like some of the 3-year-old preschoolers. We initially started with 3 and 4-year-old pre-Ks, just like in our buildings, but we saw that we had enough 4-year-old interest that the 3-year-olds would be like on a wait list, or really maybe not even considered, because we think maybe 3-year-olds might be too young for out there at Camp Adventure. So that's kind of been the selection process. So it's filled up just naturally by that. If we continue to get more, they would kind of go on a wait list. So it's kind of been first come, first served, but there's been a little bit of rationale as to who we've brought in at what level.
And there's no additional cost for this?
So pre-K is a cost, just like all of our pre-K.
Just like all of our pre-K.
But there's no cost for kindergarten, just like any of the programs said. But there's no, the lunch is free, breakfast, is free, all of those things. There could be some materials that would not be necessarily like a curricular material, but like clothing, they have to have certain shoes out there. We would provide bug spray and, different sunscreen, different things like that for kids out there. But there may be some materials like clothing wise that parents would have to purchase, but they're aware of that. They've been sent a materials list. And I think part of Montessori is they know those things when they're signing up for a Montessori school. They know they're going to be outside a lot, so they're going to have to, dress their kids appropriately, and you just can't wear shorts when it's 32 degrees and you're going outside. So,
Thank you.
To talk about the costs associated with pre-K, we did make the decision that we are not going to go into the licensing component with the Forest Academy just yet. So if a student does have vouchers, this program would not qualify for the vouchers offered from On My Way Pre-K or CCDF. But we will work with families on a sliding scale to accommodate those families that may need that assistance along the way too. We did talk about as the program grows and expands that we may actually end up getting it licensed in the future, but for this first year, we are going to just get our feet wet and see what it looks like first.
Thank you.
What's our,
the second year wouldn't even have pre-K, if we continued. So we didn't think we would license it for a year and then not even have pre-K out there. And then, so potentially that third year when we're always going to have pre-K out there, we would look at potentially licensing.
Thank you.
what's our staffing out there?
Staffing out there is Mallory is the camp coordinator. We have one teacher and then one aide. So in the classroom on the day-to-day basis, there would be 20 students and then two full-time staff that's out there all the time. We did the instructional assistant is a full-time instructional assistant position and then a full-time teacher.
Okay, how close are they to the water?
They're feet-wise, they're far enough away that if they were to go out of the building, they're not gonna run into the water. They have to go down the hill. So probably 900 feet, maybe.
The pond, the closest water source, the
Yes.
creek is behind
Yes.
the pond.
Right.
And after that, so.
So you, a teacher, and an aide
Yes.
all the time?
We
talked-
also talked earlier about how the month of August will be much more structured and normalizing processes and routines and teaching the kids how to interact with the materials. So it'll be more structured, less freedom than the Montessori-like inspired program. But then once those routines, procedures, and expectations are established, that's when some of that. So it'll be very structured to get started.
And probably for that first month, they will be in the classroom, just normalizing with the Montessori materials, normalizing with the prepared environment, and normalizing, like she said, with the expectations outdoors, like here's how we walk by the pond. But all of that is also covered in the parent handbook, just so parents feel comfortable, because that was a big question. Well, there's a pond here, there's a creek here, so, yes.
If you determine that another aide is merited, don't sleep on that. I mean, we can look at getting another aide.
Sure.
That's the lawyer in me, that's the first concern. Talk to insurance company. Within our umbrella. Okay. Okay. Well, why don't we have you guys back, November?
Yeah.
Is that soon
Love to
enough?
bring the teacher in as well, so.
It's too cold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe in a couple,
Anybody too
maybe a
grumpy
couple,
yet?
maybe a kiddo or so, so.
And they're gonna be out there all year, right?
They are,
Yes.
so.
Maybe we can hold the meeting out there.
That'd be fine.
I mean, it's a joke.
Where's Joe, Joe, our IT guy?
Cindy
What does
just
he think
painted
of that?
it. Maybe I could be out there, right? I assume our staff is maintaining the grounds, right? You sent that letter. Okay.
Yeah.
Good. So there are people coming and going. But
Why don't you add to Robert's list to
On the loop.
put it on the loop? Please. Any other questions? It's exciting stuff. We'll look forward to hearing how it goes. And let us know if there are hiccups that you need assistance with. And again, don't hesitate. If there's something you think makes it better, let us know. Thank you for all your work on this.
All right, thanks.
Exciting
Mal-
stuff.
Thank
Poor
you.
Mallory, she's been at Camp Adventure all day, running our July camp.
Okay,
90 degrees out there.
Yes.
so we are on to the consent agenda.
We have to approve the policy then? Or no?
Do you need a policy approval, Eric?
The
I
parent-
thought-
the parent-
Pardon?
Okay, the parent guide.
I thought it was informational, but
Yeah,
Okay,
just informational, just a handbook there. So that's
Okay.
something that after I explained it to everybody, I'll send that out to parents.
Okay, I'm sorry.
yeah. Yeah, I think that's fine. Let me ask this, how many, will we have parents volunteering out there at all, or do you know?
Yeah, I would think that would be a place that can do that. Yeah, we haven't talked about that one way or the other, but,
Okay, so make sure they have they meet the same requirements as a volunteer in any other school. Okay.
We talked about too, maybe getting some of our educational pathway high school kids. That would be one of the elementary settings they could go to as well.
We're on to consent agenda items. Ms. Wines? Elena, congratulations. You're going to be at Southview.
She's super excited about coming up here.
I did not know there was gonna be a test.
So you're going to join us at Southview as a special ed teacher, right?
Yes, sir.
That's great. Southview, lots of great things happening at Southview Elementary.
Yeah.
And so where are you from? Tell us a little about yourself, family.
Well, I started at Monroe Central in the life skills classroom. They, about 9 years ago, they didn't have a program there, and I kind of helped start that. So I just thought it was time for a change and started applying here at Muncie and got to Southview. So, but I grew up in Randolph County all my life and graduated from Franklin College, not anticipating being a teacher ever. But life has a funny way of leading you back to school.
Yeah.
So, and here I am.
Well, welcome. Did you bring somebody with you tonight?
I did, my husband Jeremy. He has no problem coming up here and talking to me.
Well, we welcome you to the Muncie Community School family, and we look forward to having you at Southview and contributing to all the really wonderful things that are occurring over there.
Thank you.
And let us know if you need anything.
All right, thank you.
Okay,
I will.
welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Excited to have her. We were all colleagues, Hillcroft Services for years. They're older than me, but,
That felt like an extraneous add-on. So.
Good for your age.
So we have our personnel items, or pardon me, our consent items. Any other questions concerning consent? I do want to recognize Shanisha Venable, who is retiring as a special education aide at Central after 15 years. So thanks for service. With that, would entertain a motion. Do I hear a second? Second. Okay, all those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay. Financial reports.
Thank you. Included in your board packet was the financial report for the results for the month of June. Obviously, this is 6 months into a 12-month calendar year. I will have more information for you as we do our budget presentation for you next month, August 12th, but we'll hit some of the highlights today. I always like to report our state basic grant revenue, about $47.5 million is still what the state has promised us for that. We received the new state estimate today for the fiscal year 26, and they're showing $47.8 million for fiscal year 26, and of course that starts in July for the fiscal year from the state. Not a huge increase, obviously only about $300,000 increase in revenue from one year to the next there, and that is supposed to also cover the TBR, the textbook rental, which had been the last 2 years a separate payment of $750,000, which was $160 times our ADM count. So Now they have rolled the TBR into the state basic grant, and the numbers, of course, don't quite, they're not flushing out that 700,000 we used to get. That's just the way it is on the revenue there. So that is a challenge we'll have going forward on TBR. Still reporting a little over $34 million cash balance at the end of June. Once again, that still reflects almost $5 million of bond money, bond project that's going on right now at the Muncie Central in the Fieldhouse campus there. Our state loan outstanding, we're now below $7 million on what of the original $12 million loan to the state. So always like to report that we're continuing to pay that off per the
Brad.
original amortization schedule. Yes.
I just thought of this, but that payment comes off of our state grant, correct?
That is correct. It comes right off the top. So we don't have to make the payment or drag the payment out. They subtract that
So they
from our
get it.
monthly. Yes, they do. And
So-
that goes until June of 2028. And it was a backloaded kind of amortization payment. So it's
Right.
interest-free. It's not paid out of debt service. They subtract it, just like you said, out of our education fund money to pay back that original $12 million advance that we received in 2019. So,
Just want to make.
yeah, and it's up to now $185,000 a month starting in July. So that just goes on per their regular schedule. So anyway, that keeps going on. Just a couple other items to note from a payroll standpoint. We are running, believe it or not, we're running below last year at this time. After 6 months, we're down $273,000 on payroll. That's because we were down slightly on the head count a little bit compared to the previous year. And always like to report that. Of course, as of July 1st, due to saving money, bringing the facility maintenance and custodial contract back in-house to save $1 million a year in the operation fund, our head count will start going up, and I'll report that kind of on a pro forma basis so you can at least see we're comparing apples to oranges or apples to apples on our head count number when we talk about the head count anyway. So in any event, those were a couple of highlights there. We did receive in the month of June, we still did receive our share of property taxes from the county. So that's always good to report that we receive property taxes in May and June. We'll receive property taxes again in November and December. We're still expecting to receive from the county probably expected about just under 12 million, 11.9 million in property taxes for this particular year. So you have your normal companion documents there, the charts and graphs, which just shows our trend in our cash balance as it continues to go up or rise steady. And you'll see the red there just shows the state loan as that continues to go down. And I use the benchmark of December of 2018 is where we start that. Appropriations, as you can see, we're right at the 6-month mark there on appropriations. Everything is about what you'd call at 50%. The exception being Operation Fund and Rainy Day. We kind of treat those funds together because they're trying to combine to pay just a little over, right about $13 million of operational spending. That's how we're doing that for operation spending, Operation Rainy Day together. And we have a strategy for that, of course, just due to the cuts in operational funding on the tax caps that hit the operation fund. So that's kind of the highlights of what we have presented. We'll have more information on our permission to advertise budget presentation next month. The board has been very faithful in asking me that question about when will we get more detailed impacts of SB 1. Dr. Reynolds and I did receive information from our Baker Tilly financial consultants. We do have some information they're preparing for us, which I said, that's what we need to fully answer that question, as they have continued to unpack those rules and regulations for how it impacts the specific school districts. And that's what we want to be able to report back to you. How it really starts affecting us 2028, 2029. That's when these 25 to 30% reductions in property tax starts to kick in with the way the current rules are now. So As I previewed with Dr. Chuck a little bit, it's worthy of bringing it to the board to show that presentation. Probably later in the fall, after the
Yeah,
budget process.
I had the opportunity to have dinner with the CFO at Crown Point last week. And he and I were discussing this, and he's of the opinion we really won't have a true picture of what's going to happen until sometime next spring.
Yeah.
I mean, those projections that I think everybody's working on are at best guesses still, according to him. I don't know what Baker Tilly's telling us, but.
Like I said, that's what we contract with them to do for us, to help us with that 5-year comprehensive financial plan that they have faithfully been doing for us each year.
Yeah.
And,
Well, push them on
Yes.
how confident they are in
right,
what they're putting in front of you.
right.
Because I continue to be skeptical of the
Yep.
ability to divine what this is going to look like.
Sure.
Because I don't think it's good.
Well, I just knew that at least we have asked as a board, you have asked me
We
as
have asked
to continue
repeatedly.
to.
And I think this legislation is going to prove to be a problem.
Right. So,
Any additional questions for Mr. Jerome?
Quick question, our next ADM count is actually in October, right?
Yes.
October
So do
1st.
we have a sense where we're heading with, I don't want to put you on the spot.
Right. Right now, since most folks roll over and complete online registration forms, we don't have a great sense. I will say that our kindergarten kickoff participation was up a little bit. We have more folks completing those kindergarten forms. That's probably the biggest question mark, is how many kindergartners we're going to get. Those numbers were up, but still below where we'll land, but they were up compared to our recent trend, so.
And then our count's been moved back to October, is that right? Did I hear that?
right, yeah, 3 years in a row.
Yep.
October.
October.
Had been that second Friday in September, third Friday,
Yeah,
and now they
Yeah.
move it to October.
well, that's good, because there's about a third of Muncie kids that don't show up till well after Labor Day. So, yeah, I mean, it's just a habit, so, okay. Any additional questions? Okay. Mr. Grimm, are you going to do the curriculum?
I am. So, tonight I have a motion to review and approve a Quaver Student Success and Resiliency set of resources in our elementaries. This came from our process checks each year. As you know, we do process checks with our schools. One of the things that elementary counselors and teachers asked for were some more resources that went along with this. They asked for that kind of in the fall. Some of our counselors went to the state counseling conference and saw a presentation from our music curriculum vendor, which is Quaver, that has a student success set of resources. They really liked it, so they brought that back to me, asked me if we could maybe look into that. So I reached out to our representative who provides like I said, our music curriculum, which our music teachers really like. And they allowed us to pilot that all spring. So our elementary counselors and some of our behavior BCs in our buildings and family navigators in our elementaries piloted the Quaver success resources all spring. Kind of at the end, I surveyed them to see if that was something that they would want to continue with for next year, and they all were in favor of continuing it. They found probably the most benefit from our early age, our K through 3 students. I think really took to the curriculum because it is a music-based curriculum as well. I mean, Quaver provides music curriculum, and this set of resources also deals with some of the things like I mentioned there, self-awareness and self-management and social awareness, but they also do it kind of in a musically way. The elementary kids really, especially the younger ones, really bought into that in the classrooms, learning those skills. So they really like that, so they asked if we could adopt that. So tonight, we're looking to adopt that resource for our elementary counselors and behavior folks in our schools to use with our kiddos when it comes to teaching that self-awareness skills, self-management, relationship skills, decision-making skills, some of those skills that maybe are not core academic, but are definitely influence. They definitely influence how well you perform in those core academic areas in the classroom. So asking that you look at to adopt that tonight. That does come out of our TBR, our textbook fund, for that purchase.
So is this a one-time payment or is this an annual payment of $37,000?
This is the 3-year, this will be a 3-year payment. This will be a 3-year time period. So we purchased it for 3 years.
So the 37.8 is a one-time payment for 3 years.
Correct.
Brad, are we able to pay in advance on a license like that?
Oh, yeah, yes.
Okay. I assume so. There is some rule on payment for services, right, in advance?
Well, then we get into, when we convert our financial statements to accrual accounting, then that's something we present to the folks for the accrual with Baker Tilly.
Okay.
So we
But
handle
this-
that for the
but this
accrual
one,
basis.
Paying in advance for the full 3-year
Right.
period is not a problem.
It's just, yeah, just like paying advance for your property and casualty insurance.
Okay.
Yeah.
Several of our, I think, curriculums are paid in advance, like
Okay.
our Amplify is a 6-year curriculum, and then each year we receive the resources that come, I guess what I would say is free, but we've already paid for them up front.
Yep.
And this is largely for our counselors at the schools? Okay. Any questions? Okay, we'll entertain a motion to approve.
So moved. Second.
All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay. And then we have another update to a policy manual. Mr. Grimm, you going to handle that?
Nope, I have that one.
Chuck's got that one.
Yep. So just one late addition that we were still working with Church Hiddle and Antrim to finish up were this policy on attendance. Just a few key changes. It has a couple of new excused absences for designated FFA and 4-H activities. Revises some of the conference language for an absent student. An absent student is, they define it as a student that has 5 unexcused absences in a 10-week period. The new Indiana code has extended that from K to 6 to 7 through 12. So the new policy reflects that. Basically, it talks about having a parent conference, which we do, have a student support team, which we have, that will extend all the way through our secondary level. Just full transparency, that will be a little tough. I think once the kids hit that secondary level, they get some independence, and I think parents count on them to be a little independent, get themselves ready at times, and get to school. So it will be a new challenge for our administrative and student support teams at the secondary level, but we'll have processes. We'll duplicate those processes that we have in place already at the elementary level for the secondary.
And this is the issue that I had sent an email about doing something educationally correct.
Yes.
For our parents.
Yep.
Okay. Because I don't think there's a full understanding.
Right, and it's really the phone calls and the communication. Our teams already do that. They do a really good job of communicating out. The mandatory parent conferences, I think, will be something that we'll have to work on to make sure we do. But it's I really think the real trigger is the students who are habitually truant or absent, right, where they have missed 10% of the school, so 18 days. That's really where folks get in trouble. And those are unexcused absences. Medical, court appearances, 4-H, FFA, educational field trips, election day activities, funerals of loved ones. So those are things that don't count to be a habitually truant. So we've got to do some work in-house on our processes for those in-person meetings or those meetings that we need to have with families. But then like we talked about, we need to do a good job of communicating with our families about those trigger to be habitual truants or unexcused absences.
Well, it looks like in statute, though, if the student is a habitual truant, you can count them absent if they are deployed with the National Guard for over 15 days.
That's true.
So, who wrote that statute?
I don't know, it's not a wide swash
Yeah.
of students, that I can imagine.
Yeah, so if you're already a habitual truant, you can count that child absent if they're deployed with the National Guard. Okay.
And I'm curious, what age do you have to be to join the National Guard?
17.
Is it 17?
18, 17?
I think we've had a few kids over the years that maybe have gone to
Yeah.
boot camp over the summer.
Right.
Maybe turned 17, but
Yeah, I had some of my school classmates that
Yeah.
joined. Yeah. I just think it's one of these statutes that's well-intentioned, but it's
Right.
misunderstood by
Right.
a significant portion of our families around the state. And what I'm hearing, and I think you guys are too, is this fear that's associated with, oh, we're gonna get reported to the prosecutor, so therefore we'll simply homeschool. And
Yeah, if I can take my kid to the doctor, maybe.
yes, no. I got stopped again today. I had a conversation today with a parent about it. I mean, it's,
yeah, so it's just something we have to be very deliberate about in terms of education. Okay,
Yep.
any questions regarding the updates to this policy? Would entertain a motion.
So moved.
Hear a motion, do I hear a second? Hear a second. All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Cindy, did you get the motion and second on that? Yes. Okay. Mr. Jerome, we are on to the 2025 bond
Yep,
project.
thank you. Presented in your packet, we have 5 resolutions here. 3 I'll talk about here first. We've been working with Ice Miller, our attorney for this particular project. And just a reminder, this is our 2025 bond project, and it encompasses several items here on the Muncie Community Schools District. And we'll be dealing with several items here. And the scope of this project involves roofing needs throughout the district, replacing the boiler and the HVAC system at the field house, the chiller at Northside Middle School, exterior doors at Muncie Central High School, resurfacing of the track at Southside Middle School, resurfacing of the tennis courts at Southside Middle School, as well as Muncie Central High School, new lower arena bleachers at the field house, as well as bleachers at Northside Middle School. Those were the items that have been specifically identified in the project. Dr. Reynolds and I had our opening meeting with our architect and the principal in charge there to try to start laying out some rough timelines. With Ice Miller, what they have done for us here is starting to lay out the resolutions that we have to cover, and that's what we have first. So you have 3. We have to take these separately, is what I think Cindy has told me. The first one is determining the need for the project. You have that resolution in front of us. There it is, Exhibit A. Exhibit A is the need for the project resolution. And I guess the next one is called approving the form of the lease, because part of it is a lease rental agreement set up with our building corporation. That's why it's called a lease rental. And then we also have, that's why we have to do the building corporation because of a lease rental. And then part of the project will be of the 19.8 million, part of it will be as a general obligation bond. So part of it is considered a lease rental, part of it is a general obligation bond. These 3 resolutions we have here in a row is what Ice Miller has presented to us that our school board needs to review and approve and adopt tonight.
Okay, so we'll start with Exhibit A, the resolution determining the need for the project. Everybody's had an opportunity to review that, I presume. Mr. Jerome, do you have anything additional to add?
I don't have anything additional to add.
Okay. Do you have any questions concerning that resolution? This should look familiar to you. We've been over it the last few meetings. If there are no questions, we'll entertain a motion and a second to approve.
Move to approve.
Okay, Mr. Lowe, Mr. Irvin, second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, we'll show that. We're on to Exhibit B, the resolution approving the form of the lease. And there's also a proposed lease agreement in our materials. And again, this is part of the financing arrangement associated with this bond project. Mr. Jerome, do you have anything additional to add? And
I do not have anything additional to add. The only thing I'd be able to mention is this project would be, the rough timeline on this would be selling the bonds in the fourth quarter of 2025. The work would be done in 2026. It possibly could go on into 2027. Obviously, it's a pretty extensive project, but that's at least the rough timeline that was discussed with myself and Dr. Reynolds last week.
any additional questions concerning Exhibit B or the related lease? Hearing no questions, would entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Mr. Heater's motion, and seconded by Dr. Washburn. All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay. So we need to reapprove the building corporation.
Right.
Is that correct?
That's correct. That's the third one, yes.
And I'm assuming we're dealing with the same members of the building corporation?
That is correct, and we'll be meeting as a building corporation tomorrow morning, so.
So you
yes.
have Mr. Mall, Mrs. Johnson, what's the,
Dawson.
and Cornelius
Yes,
Dawes.
yes.
So Mr. Dawes. So those are the building corporation. They have served us previously on our bond projects. I would entertain a motion to approve those individuals as members of the building corporation. Okay, moved by Ms. Griffin. Seconded by Dr. Washburn. All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay. So we're on to 7.4.
Yes.
And I assume you just need approval to advertise.
I need
RFP.
approval for this one. The construction manager's constructor, this is how we have done several of our last 4 projects in a row. This was brought to us from Mr. Lowe here on how it's a way for a construction manager to be involved, and yet they're the one that have to bear the brunt for the bids. That's why it's called construction manager's constructor. And we have to do an RFP for this particular proposal, and that's what this does. Advertises for requesting bids for this project.
Any questions for Mr. Jerome regarding the RFP that is in your packets?
Hey, Brad, how many companies do you suppose will respond to the RFP?
This dates back to 2022 project, 23 project, and the 24 project. I think the first time in 22, because you've served on my committee with me when we evaluate the bids for the various construction managers, I think we've had at least 3 almost every time. Probably at least 2 to 3 is what we've had.
And what will be the important things that we'll look for in choosing this CMC?
Well, we have an evaluation matrix that we have set up ahead of time. It's not just all about price, it's the services and what they've been able to do in the past to
So the
meet our
projects
needs.
that we're asking to do might dictate somebody has a certain level of experience or expertise in
Right.
that kind of a project that might be advantageous over somebody who didn't.
Right, I mean, when
Conceptually.
we basically did the open call 3 years ago, when we did the EWA project, we entertained this very same notion, construction manager's constructor. We brought in, I think, 3 companies. They actually did the dog and pony show in front of us. And it was very different. The one particular company that stood out was because instead of proposing 22 portable classrooms, they said, well, let's just rotate through areas at one time. You don't have to get portables, and that saves money. That was just one example of one company who had previous experience doing that type of project. So
All right, that's what I thought.
that's what jumped to the forefront of that
Yeah,
project.
and more to your question, Dave, the firm that perhaps will be successful may not be experienced in performing roofing work. They'll have somebody do the roofing work. And that's who they're the construction manager who brings all that together under one umbrella.
It's the benefit of
Yeah,
it.
would
Yeah, to
get-
benefit the general.
Would
sort of
get
contract.
the spec and design, you get the spec in your design from your architect, and they help you write those specs, and then most commercial roofing contractors they would bring to us would be skilled enough in that arena.
Okay, all right, thanks.
And they do that for every trade, every type of thing we've done in the past 3 years, 4 projects, all the construction trades, they're very skilled in.
Thank you. Mr. Lowe, are you willing to be involved in the process again with Mr. Durham?
Yeah, if Brad needs me to be there, I'll be there.
Yeah,
Give me a
I
call.
mean, I think
Right.
another set of eyes always helps. And Jim has some time on his hands now.
Just a little.
You're not doing anything.
Oh, no.
Any additional questions concerning the RFP? I like CMs. I think it's a good approach.
Yeah, and I will tell you, I served on the committee that studied this way back, 10 years ago? Because back then, about the only thing we had for the state of Indiana for a public bid was firm bids, which were problematic. And I have to tell you, at that point in time, I was skeptical about the whole process, but I am now a believer. This is a really great process for Indiana to get projects done, because they become part of your team. They're there day in, day out, and I think you can attest to that, Brad.
Yeah, I mean,
They're
that's,
there to help us.
the particular construction manager we've had the last 3 years has been on site with us. We have meetings all the time, weekly status meetings. They're part of the, they're out there soliciting those bids. Initially, they are not going to accept any of those bids unless it satisfies us and our project and it fits in our money that we have available, because it's a fixed amount of money that you have available for a project. So that's a level of expertise that we've seen by having a construction manager as constructor. I was skeptical too. I never worked under that environment before in my previous district on various projects. So this has been a good solution for such a wide variety of topics we're going to do.
Yeah,
And they've helped us with the slab jacking issue that we had. They have a level of expertise not everyone has.
And
So
that was not an easy project. I've tried to explain it to people.
I know that's one of your favorite
Well,
change orders we've ever
I
had to
can tell
do.
you, so going back 30 years, 35 years now, and any major construction project for a long time, it just seemed like to me, my law firm was getting involved. There was litigation.
Litigation.
It was just every project, Ball State for a long time.
I sit through, I don't know how many mediation sessions, but I tell you, it was unfair for contractors on 20 and 30 and 40 and $50 million projects. You have 4 weeks to submit a price, and you have to live with that
Right.
price.
Yeah.
And documents that are this thick. This process is much better suited for this
Much
complicated
cleaner,
project.
and there are
Yeah.
there are demonstrably fewer disputes.
And, yes,
So, those that are not involved in this world, it's gotten much better, not for the lawyers, because we appreciated the disputes. All those, well, we don't even have a motion.
Move approval.
Got Mr. Heater moving approval.
Second.
Dr. O'Neill, second. All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Pose same sign. Okay. We have the architect for the bond project.
Yes, I'd like to present in the board packet tonight also is permission to approve Schmitz as the architect's services for this particular project. They have worked with us. They were in place when I came in 2018. They have a very good working relationship with us, and I have nothing to doubt going forward that they will not continue to be there for us as a good partner. So I would like to make that recommendation once again to use Schmitz for this specific project that we've identified.
Okay. Any questions concerning the architect? No questions? Will entertain a motion?
move to approve. Second.
Here a second, okay. All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Pose same sign. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Jerome. Thank you for all your work, and Dr. Reynolds, the team's work on this. How are we, Dr. Bell, on our HR?
We're doing very well. Good evening, President Williams, Dr. Reynolds, and the rest of the board members. Very excited about where we are with our hiring, and so we are ready. We need maybe 1 teacher, 2 teachers to get the school year started, and principals, are making those recommendations.
Okay. Dr. Reynolds, did you talk to the folks about a potential comp committee?
I have not yet. I thought I'd do that.
Okay. So Dr. Reynolds will reach out to several of you on comp. So hopefully we can get that moving forward. Okay, Mr. Klotz, any media inquiry? Okay. At this point, would entertain a motion to adjourn. Hear a motion, do I hear a second?
Second.
All in favor, signify by aye.
Aye.
We'll stand adjourned. Thank you.